None of us saw it coming. The world was taken by surprise when the G77 plus China summit in Cuba began to make headlines. It wasn't just another international meeting. It was a gathering that promised to shake the very foundations of the global order. The summit, held in the vibrant city of Havana, brought together leaders from across the globe representing a significant portion of the world's population. But what made this summit so different? Why did it capture the world's attention in such a dramatic way? The G77 plus China summit in Cuba is changing the game. Why? Let's dive in. This summit wasn't just about discussions and speeches, it was about action and change. The leaders who gathered in Havana were there with a purpose, a mission to challenge the status quo and demand a fairer, more equitable world. They were there to address the pressing issues that have been plaguing developing nations for decades, issues that have been exacerbated by recent global events. On September 15, 2023, the G77 plus China summit kicked off in Cuba. The timing of this summit was no coincidence. It came at a moment when the world was grappling with a multitude of crises, from geopolitical tensions to economic instability. The leaders who gathered in Havana knew that the time for change was now, and they were determined to make their voices heard. Representing 80% of the world's population, this group called for a change to the global order. So, what's the deal? The G77 plus China bloc, which started with 77 countries, has now grown to include 134 members, making it a formidable force on the global stage. These nations, representing the vast majority of the world's population, are united in their demand for a more just and equitable world order. They are calling for reforms that will address the imbalances and injustices that have long plagued the global system. The summit's timing is no accident. It comes at a critical juncture in world history, a time when the old order is being challenged and new possibilities are emerging. The leaders who gathered in Havana are acutely aware of the urgency of the moment, and they are determined to seize this opportunity to push for meaningful change. With growing frustration over Western dominance and issues like the Russian war in Ukraine, climate change, and economic disparities, developing nations are demanding a fairer system. The world is witnessing a shift in power dynamics as developing nations assert their right to have a say in global affairs. They are no longer willing to accept a system that benefits a few at the expense of the many. The G77 plus China summit is a testament to this growing demand for a more inclusive and equitable world order. Leaders from Africa, Asia and Latin America echoed Cuban President Miguel Díaz-Canel's call for a world that's more inclusive. But why now? The answer lies in the changing geopolitical landscape. The rise of new powers, the decline of old ones, and the increasing interconnectedness of the world have created a unique moment in history. The leaders who gathered in Havana understand that this is a time of great opportunity, but also great risk. They are determined to navigate these challenges and create a better future for their people. Let's rewind to 2016 when Donald Trump took office. His administration marked a significant shift in US foreign policy, one that had far-reaching implications for the rest of the world. Trump's America First approach and his confrontational style disrupted the established order and created new uncertainties. This period of upheaval set the stage for the events that would follow. His administration shifted the political landscape, putting dictators on notice. The Trump era was characterized by a new level of unpredictability in international relations. Long-standing alliances were tested and new rivalries emerged. This period of instability had a profound impact on the global political landscape, creating both challenges and opportunities for leaders around the world. Trump had dirt on many leaders, thanks to Jeffrey Epstein's infamous Black Book. The revelations from Epstein's Black Book sent shockwaves through the corridors of power. Many leaders found themselves compromised, and the political landscape was further destabilized. This period of scandal and intrigue added another layer of complexity to an already volatile situation. This leverage forced many to play ball or risk their careers. The pressure on political leaders was immense, and many were forced to make difficult choices. The revelations from Epstein's Black Book created a climate of fear and uncertainty, as leaders grappled with the potential fallout from the scandal. Fast forward to 2023, and this backdrop set the stage for the G77 plus China summit. The events of the past few years have created a unique set of circumstances that have brought the G77 plus China bloc to the forefront of global politics. The leaders who gathered in Havana are acutely aware of the challenges they face, but they are also determined to seize the opportunities that lie ahead. UN Chief Antonio Guterres was there, highlighting the need for a new economic world order. Guterres' presence at the summit underscored the importance of the event. His call for a new economic world order resonated with the leaders in attendance, who are united in their demand for a more just and equitable global system. The bloc, once 77 countries strong, now boasts 134 members, including China. The growth of the G77 plus China bloc is a testament to the increasing importance of developing nations in global affairs. These countries are no longer willing to be sidelined. They are demanding a seat at the table and a voice in the decisions that affect their future. In Cuba, leaders like Venezuela's Nicolás Maduro and Argentina's Alberto Fernández united to push for South-South cooperation. The leaders who gathered in Havana are committed to strengthening ties between developing nations and promoting South-South cooperation. They believe that by working together they can create a more just and equitable world order. Their goal: reform international institutions, promote sustainable development, and ensure tech access. The leaders at the summit are united in their demand for reforms that will address the imbalances and injustices that have long plagued the global system. They are calling for changes that will promote sustainable development and ensure that developing nations have access to the technology and resources they need to thrive. The summit marked a significant step towards a more multipolar world. The G77 plus China summit is a testament to the growing importance of developing nations in global affairs. The leaders who gathered in Havana are determined to create a more multipolar world, one in which power is more evenly distributed and all nations have a voice. The Global South's voice is louder than ever, and they're ready to reshape the future. The leaders of the Global South are united in their demand for a more just and equitable world order. They are determined to reshape the future and create a world in which all nations have a voice and a stake in the decisions that affect their future. Curious to see how this pans out? Stay tuned. The G77 plus China summit is just the beginning. The leaders who gathered in Havana are determined to continue their fight for a more just and equitable world order. Stay tuned to see how this historic event unfolds and what the future holds for the G77 plus China bloc and the world.